Okay, good afternoon all. Today we are going to discuss about the rest, the final part of dimension analysis. Actually, as I discussed you earlier, yes, today I will send because my hard copies of tools I will send because the delay is mine. Okay, because those days were full busy because I have shifted to new location and there were a lot of things to do. Therefore, I was busy in those days. That's why I couldn't post the tools. Other thing is, previously I was in Kadugala area. Therefore, I used to send the tools using Ponto Kadugala branch. Now I have shifted to Kotta. That's why I did not send that to Kadugala branch because after that I cannot check with the branch no. Therefore, I will send that within this week. Yeah, mostly within this week I can check. Okay, this week or yeah, late this week. Okay, and sorry for that. Okay, uh, good. Actually, we were discussing about how to derive an equation using the dimensional analysis. Okay. Do you have any questions regarding that? Do you have any questions regarding that? Because we couldn't do the class last week. Sometimes you forgot that theory part. Sorry. So, do you have any questions regarding that? No. Very good. Okay. Then, actually, you are given one questions regarding building a relationships. I think you are given to build a formula between volume and side length. Listen to me. Could you please explain your question? How do we identify means regarding relationship building or in any other case? Identifying directly, indirectly question. Again, make other. No, you don't want to identify whether they are directly proportional or not. Okay, you have to assume. Okay, I will explain. I will explain through the homework. In the homework, you are given to determine an equation between the side length of a cube and the volume. Side length of a cube. Cube yes. Side length of a cube side length of a cube and the volume. And the volume. Oh, okay. Suppose volume is V and side length is B. You need to determine an equation between these two variables. Okay. So what is the first step? What is the first step? Can anyone tell me? What is the first step? What is the first? Yes. we have to assume V directly proportional to a power of to some power of B. Huh? We don't know whether they are directly proportional or indirectly proportional, whether the B directly proportional to B squared or B cubed or B half, or we don't know anything. We don't know anything. And this is an assumption. This is an assumption because if x is 1, if x is 1, V directly proportional to B. If x is minus 1, if x is minus 1, then B directly proportional to B minus 1. That means B directly proportional to 1 over B. Therefore, that means B inversely proportional to B. Inversely proportional to B. And therefore, in this assumption, in this assumption, anything can be happen. එහෙනම් ඕන දෙයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් මේක. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ directly proportional වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, inverse proportional වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, ඕන දෙයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So this is assumption. This is assumption. So you may using this assumption, anything can be happen. If x is 1, V directly proportional to B. If x is minus 1, V inversely proportional to B. Inversely proportional to B. Therefore, if we can determine the value of x, from that, you can determine the relationship between V and B. Otherwise, you cannot determine. Otherwise, you don't know what is the relationship between V and B. You don't know. But once you determine the value of x, then you can identify the relationship between B and B. Did you get my point, lesson?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Therefore, you don't want to worry about whether they are directly proportional, inversely proportional, or whether they are directly proportional. You don't want to worry. Okay, just do an assumption. Let's do an assumption. Using that assumption, find the value of x. If you can find the value of x, from that, you can determine what is the relationship between them. Okay. So that is the way of doing this. Now, first you have to assume B directly proportional to B to the power x. X can be any real number. X can be any real number. Okay. Now you have to find the x. How to find the x? You cannot find the x with this format. This is a relationship format. Therefore, you have to convert this relationship format into an equation. This is the first step. First step is assumption. Assumption. So this is the first step. The second step is convert this relationship into an equation. How to convert this relationship into an equation? කොහොමද මම මේක equation about convert කරන්නේ? ටක් ගාලා කියන්නේ කවුරු?
Constant.
Sorry, පුතේ.
By using constant.
Yeah. You know how to convert. You know if two variables are directly proportional, then the ratio between them is a constant. The ratio between them is a constant. So using that definition, you can convert this relationship into an equation. That is the second step. Convert this relationship into an equation. So if you convert this into an equation, then you will have this kind of equation K Vx. It is very clear. That means V over Vx. V over Vx is a constant. K is constant. K is a constant. Therefore, you have to write this one. So this is second step. Build in and assume equation. Build in and assume equation. Here K is a constant. Here K is a constant. I don't know whether I have given you the value of K. If I did not give the value of K, please mention that K is equal what? Mention in the question. The proportionality constant. This one is called like proportionality constant. Okay. So I don't know. I don't remember whether I have given that value or not. If it is not mentioned, please mention that within brackets. The proportionality constant is 1. The proportionality constant is equal to 1 L. So, proportionality constant. Question within brackets. The proportionality constant is 1. Now look at this one. Now there is an equation. So if you know the dimension of V, and if you know the dimension of B, and if you know the value of K, value or dimension of K, if you know all the things, then you can find the value of X. No, this is very simple thing. If you know all the things, that means if all the things were given or are given, then definitely you can find the value of X. Okay. So the next step is finding the value of X. To find the value of X, all the things should be given or should be known. Okay. Otherwise, this method cannot be used. That is a limitation of this method. Okay. Otherwise, we cannot do. That should be given. We know the dimension of module. We know that thing. It is known value. We know the dimension of B. B is a side length of the side length. Therefore, it is known. This is known. This one is known. This one, the value of K is given. These two are known. This one is given. Okay. Therefore, then I can find the value of X. K is given. No? K is given. Therefore, I can write this one as this. V to the power X. Because K is equal 1. Now this is volume. Now I am going to find the value of X. This is the third step. Finding value of X. This is the third step today. Finding the value of X. How to find the value of X? To find the value of X, you have to apply or you have to substitute the dimension of both sides. So V is equal B to the power X. That means dimension of V is equal to the dimension of B to the power X. Now you can apply the dimension formula. V is volume is L to the power 3. This one is L, or it also L because side length is L, no? L to the power X. Therefore, L to the power 3 is equal to L to the power X. Now this is an equation to equate both sides, the power of same base should be equal. Therefore, the next step is equating the power of same base, equating the power of same base. And therefore, actually, you have to equate only three powers, no? Because there are only three variables, so M, L, and T. M, L, and T. Therefore, you have to equate only three powers. In this case, there is only one. Huh? Huh. Then the next step is, fourth step is equating powers of same base. Equating powers of same base. Now in this case, there is only one term, one variable that is L. Equate this L. When you are equating powers, please mention that one. Okay. මොකකට මොන පවයකද use කරන කියලා mention කරන්න. So L, the power of L in RHS is equal to 3. Power of L in LHS is equal to, sorry, LHS is 3, RHS X. Therefore, X is equal to 3, X is equal to 3. Therefore, volume V, therefore, V is equal B to the power 3. B to the power 3. Did you get my point? තේරුණාද කියලා පුතේ මට කියන්න?
Yes.
தெரியும் නම් தெரியும் කියන්න. தெரியும்ද? මෙහෙම කරන්න. හරිද? පැහැදිලිද? ඔන්න ඔක තමයි ස්ටෙප්ස් ටික. ටක් ගාලා මෙන්ෂන් කරගන්න මේ ස්ටෙප්ස් වල අමතරව මොකක් හරි ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ස්ටෙප්ස් වල පොඩි මොකක් හරි අඩුපාඩුවක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ ටික මෙන්ෂන් කරගන්න. මම මේ ස්ටෙප්ස් ටික මම වෙනම මෙන්ෂන් කරේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඉස්සරහට මේක මතක තියාගන්න ලේසි වෙන්න. ඕගොල්ලෝ ගාන හදනකොට මේ ස්ටෙප් මේ සම්චයන් මෙහෙම ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. හරිද? ඒ වුණාට මම ඕගොල්ලන්ට මතකයේ තියෙන පහසු වෙන්න තමයි මම ඒක කරේ. Okay. Okay. Okay, everyone, please look at me. Please look at the board. Kattiman board. Now this is a really interesting part. Look at this. Suppose x. There are three variables x, y, and z. There are three variables x, y, and z. Suppose x is directly proportional to y, and x also directly proportional to z. And that means x is directly proportional to two other variables separately and separately. Then x is directly proportional to the product of these two variables y is a. If any variable is directly proportional to two or more than two other variables separately, then that variable is directly proportional to the product of those two variables. So this is a rule. Rule this can be proved. How to prove that? How to prove that? How to? Yeah, that is a homework. Okay, that is a homework. There is a homework. I will explain that thing. I will explain that thing. But you have to think. You have to think. Okay. So this is a rule. This is rule. What is the rule? If any variable is directly proportional to two other variables separately, then that variable is directly proportional to the product of those two variables. Okay. Then the variable is directly proportional to the product of these two variables. And you have to do that part. You have to do that part. Hitan. And hitala rough sheet. You have to take a rough sheet and do some calculation. Or you can do some experimental things. Then send you answers. අනිවාර්යෙන් answers එවන්න හිතලා මොකද මේක prove කරන්න syllabus එක නැහැ. හරිද? මේක prove කරන්න syllabus එක නැහැ. මම කියා දෙන්න කොහොමද කරන්න කියලා. හරිද? මේ අපේ ඕගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ. මම ඕගොල්ලෝ තව එකක් දුන්නා මට එවිරන්නේ නැහැ. මම කියවනේ දර මේ නිව්ටන්ස් ලෝස් මේ තුනම එකක් කියලා පෙන්නන්න කියලා. මම කියවනේ. කොහොමද මතක නැහැ කිව්වද? නිව්ටන්ස් ලෝස් තුනම අපිට එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න පුළුවන් නිව්ටන්ස්ගේ මේ සෙකන්ඩ් ලෝ එකේ. මම කිව්වා නේද මේ තුනම එකක් කියලා ප්‍රූව් කරන්න කියලා. නැද්ද? එහෙනම් ඒකත් මේ ප්‍රූව් කරන්න. නිව්ටන් අපි ඔය කරන ඔය එක වැඩ තමයි. නිව්ටන්ස් ලෝස් තුනම ගත්තොත් ඒ පුතේ ඔය ලෝස් තුනක් වැඩක් නැහැ. ඇත්තටම එක ලෝ එකක් තිබුණා නම් ඇති ඔක්කොටම මේ වැඩක් නැහැ නෙවෙයි. ඉතින් වැඩක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් ඒ වුණාට අර සෙකන්ඩ් ලෝ එකකින් ඔක්කොම ටික එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න පුළුවන්. සෙකන්ඩ් ලෝ එකම තමයි හැමතැනම තියෙන්නේ. හරිද? අර ලෝස් තුනක් වශයෙන් එයා දුන්නා මට ඒක සෙකන්ඩ් ලෝ එකම තමයි. හරිද? පුළුවන් නම් ඒක ප්‍රූව් කරන්න. පුළුවන් නම් ඒකත් ප්‍රූව් කරන්න. ඒකත් පොඩි ඕගොල්ලන් හිතන් උරු ගන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්. හරිද? ඒකට මේක අර මයින්ඩ් එකට එක්සර්සයිස් එකක් කියන්නේ නැහැ. So this is a homework. You have to do this one. Okay. So write a note. A special note. expression not. This is the clearly not right on the not, right on the not. If a variable, if a variable is directly proportional, if a variable is directly proportional to two other variables, to two other variables separately, the first variable will be directly proportional, will be directly proportional to the product of to the product of to the product of two other variables. Two other variables. Okay. Suppose x directly proportional to y and x directly proportional to z separately, then and we can say x directly proportional to the product of these two. Product of these two. This is something like F equal NM. F equal NM. Both M and both A are directly proportional to the force. మనం పుంజి తగ్గుతా and ඒකත් දාලා prove කරලා පෙන්නන්න. Okay. We have to use this tool to do the next part. අපිට පුතේ මේ දැන් switch එකට extra class එකක් දාගන්න ඕනි. So what about Tuesday evening? Tuesday evening. Oh, yeah, Tuesday evening, much better. Tuesday evening.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Can you? Okay. Then I will arrange a extra class. Okay, because we have to complete this one, and as well as we have discussed the tute today. Therefore, I'm planning to discuss the tute. Okay, I'm planning to discuss the tute after today's lesson. After today's lesson, you can complete the tute, the given tute. Okay, the MCQ part. Then we can discuss that tute on Tuesday. Discuss their knowledge. Then you will be given the first EQR. EQR එක ඊළඟට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හම්බ වෙනවා. හරි. EQR කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Exam question reviewing part එක. ඒකට වෙනම පොතක් තියාගන්න. You have to keep another book. So once we complete today's lesson, you can do the tute today. You can do the tute. The tute will be discussed on Tuesday. Tuesday evening, 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Okay. Okay. Until now, we have discussed how to build an equation between two variables, no? V and B. Volume and breadth. Then area and the side length. Likewise, we have discussed only two variables. Now we are going to discuss more than two variables. Okay. To do that, you have to have this knowledge. You have to have this knowledge. That means if a variable is directly proportional to two other variables separately, then that variable also directly proportional to the product of these two variables. That knowledge should be there. Then write a topic. Building a relationship between more than two physical quantities. Okay. We can explain the thing using an example. Okay. Suppose you are given the force. The force depends on two variables that are mass and acceleration. Okay. You are given the force. The force depends on two variables that are mass and acceleration. And you are given that. And then you are asked to build an equation between these three variables. Okay. As a hint, you are given the proportionality constant can be taken as 1. The proportionality constant can be taken as 1. It is given. Otherwise, we cannot do. Other than that information, that means proportionality constant is equal to 1. Other than that information today, you are given this information only. That means force is directly proportional to mass and reaction. No, not directly proportional. The force depends on mass and acceleration. And ඕගොල්ලන්ට දීලා තියෙනවා force කියන එක depend වෙන පුතේ mass එකයි acceleration එකයි කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේගොල්ලන්ගේ proportionality constant එක 1 කියලා ගන්න කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා. හරිද? එච්චර. හරිද? ඊළඟට ඕගොල්ලන් අහනවා එහෙනම් මේ variables තුන combine කරලා equation එක define කරන්න. So in such cases, we have to follow some steps. I will explain that one. The first thing is you have to identify what are the variables affecting to the given variable. Now it is given. Now it is given. But if not, you have to determine what are the variables that affect to the given variable. That is step number one. Okay, you have to clearly identify that one. Most of the cases that is given. Most of the cases that is given. If not, you have to determine that one first. Okay. So first step is this one. The first step is this one. Identifying the factors of and physical quantities affecting the given physical quantity. That is step number one. Step number two is now we have identified what are the physical quantities affecting to the given physical quantity. Now we can build an assumed relationship. Assume. This is assumption. I can assume f directly proportional m to the power x. This is assumption. I don't know x. And I can also assume n f directly proportional a to the power y. I don't know. I don't know what is x and what is y. This is assumption. This is just assumption. Okay. Then we can determine the value of x and y. Then we can exactly say what is the relationship between n and f. What is the relationship between a and f? Okay. Until then, this is an assumption. Okay. The second step is assumption. Assume relationship. So from this assumed relationship, I can combine these relationship into one relationship. Now there are two relationships. Now there are two relationships. So I can combine these two relationships into one relationship using my previous knowledge. I can combine these two. Therefore, the third part is combining relationships into one relationship. Into one relationship. How to do that? We can use the previous knowledge. As I said earlier, if any variable is directly proportional to two other variables separately, then this variable also directly proportional to the product of these two, So using that rule, I can say f is directly proportional n to the power x and a to the power y. This is the combined relationship. Then okay, the fourth step. Fourth step is I can convert this. Actually, if it is a relationship, I cannot find x or y. I cannot find. This is just a relationship. I cannot do any mathematical operation to a relationship. So to do a mathematical operation, I have to convert this relationship into an equation. Therefore, the fourth step is converting this relationship into a come into an equation. So how to convert relationship into an equation? Huh? How to convert? How to convert? How to convert? Sama lagi ni. Okay, you can. This is a directive proportionality book. This is a directive proportionality. Therefore, the ratio between them is a constant. That definition can be used to convert that relationship into an equation. And we take. So if I convert this one into an equation, then you will have f equal k n to the power x a to the power y. So this step is converting the relationship into an equation. Here k is a proportion. Here k is the proportional constant. Proportionality constant. It is the proportionality constant. And it is given as 1, no? It is given as 1. It is given as 1. Then I can use that part. Okay. Then the fifth step is f is equal n to the power x, a to the power y, a to the power y to a, because k is equal to 1. K is equal to 1, it is given. Now you have a equation to that. You have equation. Now you have equation. So if I know the value of, if I know the dimension, not the value and the dimension of k, m, a, and f. If I know all of them, then we can find x and y. Then we can find x and y. The only thing we should know is the dimension of these physical quantities. We have to have that knowledge. We should aware about the dimension of the physical quantities in this equation. And we should know the value of the dimension of k. Sometimes it is a number only. Sometimes it may be a physical quantity too. If it is a physical quantity, it should be given. The dimension of that physical quantity should be given, otherwise you cannot do. So those are the limitation of this step today. Okay, if they are not given, we cannot do this procedure. And therefore, if you want to go through this procedure, all of them should be given. Otherwise we cannot do. තේරෙනවා කියපුදේ පුදේ බලන්න මේක කරන්න නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් මෙයාගේ ඩිමෙන්ෂන්ස් වල දීලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම මෙයාගේ වැලියු මම දැනන් ඉන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් මට xy හොයාගන්න බෑ. ඒක නිසා මෙතන වැදගත්ම දේ තමයි මේ හැම දෙයකම ඩිමෙන්ෂන් නැත්නම් වැලියු එක මම දැනන් ඉන්නේ. හරිද? ඒක අනිවාර්යෙන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. සමහරවිට k කියන සමහරවිට පුතේ නම්බර් එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් සමහරවිට k කියන්නේ සමහරවිට ඩිමෙන්ෂන් තියෙන ෆිසිකල් ක්වොන්ටිටි එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ මොකක් වුණත් ඒ ඔක්කොම දීලා තියෙනවා. නැත්නම් මට කරන්න බෑ. ඒව තමයි මේකේ තියෙන ලිමිටේෂන්. හරි. බලන්න. The fifth step. The fifth step is now we have a equation, but the thing is there are two unknown values or unknown variables in that equation that are x and y. So we have to find x and y. Therefore, the last step is finding the value of x and y. Finding the values of x and y. Finding the value of x and y. Okay, now. Amen. Finding the values of x and y. So this is the last step. To find the value of x and y, you have to have that dimensional knowledge. Now you know force, F is force, M is mass, A is acceleration. So what is the dimension of x? So F, tackle again. What is the dimension of F?
MLT minus 2.
Very good, Pita, very good. M, L, E minus 2. Then what is the dimension of M?
Capital M.
Capital M, no? Capital M. So M to the power x. Then A,
LT minus 2.
LT minus 2. LT minus 2. LT minus 2 to the power of y. 2 to the power of y. Now you can simplify. Make simplify करना पूरा मेरे MCQ question ना कहाँ simplify करना देखना टक्कर करना पूरा. M L P minus 2 M to the power x. Then x क्या है Then L to the power y. L to the power y. Then t to the power minus 2y. T to the power minus 2y. Okay. Now you can do the same procedure. Now there are two MLTs in two sides, both sides. MLT MLT. This is an equation. If this is an equation, both powers relevant to the same base. Both powers relevant to the same base should be equal. That means m to the power 1. Here in LHS, the power of m is 1. Definitely, the RHS, the power of m should be 1. Otherwise, it is not an equation. Eh? In LHS, the power of L is 1. Therefore, in RHS, power of L should be 1. In LHS, power of T is minus 2. So, if it is an equation, then the power of T definitely should be equal to minus 2. And therefore, the sixth step is equating powers of same base. Equating powers of same base. That is the sixth and last steps. Equating powers of the same base. Same base. Equating powers of the same base. So if I equate m, here m is equal to 1, power is 1. Here the power of m is 6. So x is equal to 1. Then I can say x is equal to 1. Then if I equate the power of L, here power of L is 1, here power of L is 1. Therefore, x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, k also equal to 1. Now you have determined all the things. Then you can write the equation. Finally, you can write the equation. Therefore, The answer is F equal A to the power 1, A to the power 1. That means F equal M A. That means F equal N to the power 1, A to the power 1. That means F equal M A. මෙච්චර ලොකුවට සුළු කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මම මේ කිව්වේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙයි. හරිද? Did you get my point? මට හැමෝගෙම රෙස්පොන්ඩ් එකක් ඕනේ. Please respond everyone. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Uday. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Then write this. अभी clear करना. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. You have written the topic ne? Topic के लिए बोले ने? Topic के लिए बोले ने? Okay. Write under that topic. Write under that topic. The procedure can be explained. The procedure can be explained. The procedure can be explained using an example. Using an example. Okay. Write in another para. Write in another para. Suppose the unbalanced external force, within the brackets F, close the bracket. Suppose the unbalanced external force, capital F, depends on mass M, mass within the brackets M, mass within the brackets M, close the bracket, and depends on the mass and the acceleration within the brackets A, close the brackets, mass and the acceleration of a body if the proportionality constant, if the proportionality constant is 1, if the proportion constant is 1, build a formula, combining these three variables, combining these three variables. Okay. Write on that, not on that. In such cases, the following steps will be followed. The following steps will be followed. Okay. Right, step number one. Determining the factors. Determine the factors affecting to the given physical quantity. Affecting to the given physical quantity. Determining the factors affecting to the given physical quantity. Okay, then you can write this one. After that, you can write all these steps. It's ඔක්කොම ලියලා තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි විතරයි මම ලියුවේ නැත්තේ. පළවෙනි එක ලියලා තියෙන නිසා පළවෙනි දැන් මම word එකෙන් දුන්නා ඊට පස්සේ මේක ලියන්න. You have write this one. Then write all these steps. Okay, everyone, please wait a moment. Do you have any questions regarding this? තේරෙනවද? මේක සම්බන්ධයෙන් මොකක් හරි වෙන questions තියෙනවද? Okay. You take this, no? All right. Then you can take the tube. If you don't have the hard copies, please take the soft copy with it. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. මගේ වැරද්ද. මම ඒක වන්නම්. හරි. Okay. In that tube, the fourth essay questions, there are essay questions after the MCQs. There are essay questions. First one is we have done first one. Second one, first one also did. And also we have done the third one. Determination of dimension of an unknown physical quantity in an equation. That part also done. The fourth part, establishing a relationship between several physical quantities. That is topic. The fourth question, establishing a relationship between several physical quantities. This part. Okay. Shall we do first 4 questions? Shall we do the first 4 questions? Takkaradu palaini questions adara maybe to the end. I will share the tube again. Okay. Takkargan. මම බෝඩ් එක මකන්න නැහැ පුතේ. මම මේක මෙහෙම තියනවා. කාට හරි අයිසර් බලා ගන්න ඕන නම් බෝඩ් එකේ තියෙන මොකක් හරි ස්ටෙප් එකක් බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. ස්ටෙප්ස් මගරින්නේ 5 ස්ටෙප්ස් මගරින්නේ නැතුව බලන්න බලලා once you complete the questions, please submit your answers to the tube submission group. Then I can check. No, not mixed question. Not mixed questions. The 4 questions in the essay questions. The 4 questions in the essay questions. Don't do mixed questions. The 4 questions in the essay question are establishing a relationship between several physical quantities. There is the topic. The question එක topic එකක් තියෙනවා. 4th question. ඒ පළවෙනි questions 4. තක්ගාලවට කරලා steps එකක් පොත් අඩු කරන්න තු තක්ගාල කරලා මට answer sheet 7 එකක් ගන්න. හරි. ගොඩක් කට්ටිය දාලා තිබ්බා answers. answers එක ගොඩක් අයගේ හරි. වල දැනලා හිටියේ. මෙන්න මේ ටික පොඩ්ඩක් හැමෝම පොඩ්ඩක් පොරව ගන්න. බලන්න. Once you write a relationship and once you convert that relationship into an equation, once you convert the relationship into an equation, there should be a constant. There should be a constant. Suppose this one is if this one is converted into an equation, I have to write f is equal k into n to the power x. So you have mentioned what is k. K is a proportionality constant. That should be mentioned. And otherwise, you cannot bring any other foreign physical quantity. Therefore, you have to mention what is k. Okay. හැමෝම මේක පොඩ්ඩක් හදාගන්න. හරි. Otherwise, all things are okay. मतलब लेकिन K mention तो तीन बोल के K लिया कि बात K अगर लिया तो उतर नहीं K इस proportional constant के लिया ना K इस proportional constant के लिया ना मुझको एक foreign में variable है एक में एक variable है कोई बात नहीं वादा करते है वादा करते हैं कि हमारे के मिशन का नो है एक है नेगुल ही लगाएगा आपका नेगुल दिया नहीं आपका मिल दाल वाला हमारे मिशन का नो इला करते हैं पेपर के මේක නම් දීලා තියෙනවා සමහරවල්ලාට පුතේ දෙන්න තියෙන පුළුවන් දැන් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ ඉක්වේෂන් එක ජෙනරේට් කරනකොට දැන් මේක තියෙනවා suppose the volume V it is given as V sometimes it can be asked the volume of a spherical object depends on its radius. The proportionality constant is 5, like 4, 5 over 3. Then build a relationship. Then they have not given what is V, what is R. So if you want to write V and R, we have to mention what is V and what is R. And V is a volume, R is a radius. You have to mention that. And මොකද ඒගොල්ලෝ දීලා නැත්තම් මම මෙතන නම් දීලා තියෙන්නේ. මෙතන හැම එකක්ම දීලා තියෙන්නේ. මෙතන හැම එකේම මොකද්ද ෆිසිකල් ක්වොන්ටිටි මොකක්ද යාගේ සිම්බල් එක කියලා දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඔයාලා මොකක් හරි සිම්බල් එකක් යූස් කරනවා නම් ඒ යූස් කරන මොන ෆිසිකල් ක්වොන්ටිටි කියලා මෙන්ෂන් කරන්න නැත්තම් පැටලෙන්න පුළුවන්. හරි නැත්තම් පැටලෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන්නේ නැත්තම් මාක්ස් නොදීන්නත් පුළුවන්. මොකද දන්නේ හරි. දන්නේ Okay. They write a topic. Okay. Not a writer of the market. Sorry. We can discuss these 4 questions. Okay. Shall we discuss? The first question, the volume V of a spherical object depends on the radius R. Radius R. The proportional constant is 5 over 3. Then volume depends on R. Volume depends on R. Then I can write a relationship. This is first one. The relationship means V depends on R to the power X. R to the power X. This is the assumed relationship. This is an assumed relationship. Okay. Then I can write F is equal K into Rx. Now I have converted this relationship into an equation because I need to find X. So in this case, K is the proportionality constant that should be mentioned. K, proportionality constant, that is given as 4 pi over 3. 4 pi over 3. Therefore, volume V is equal 4 pi over 3 times R to the power X. Now you can use dimensional analysis to find the value of X. V is a volume, so volume is the dimension of volume. Now is equal to dimension of R to the power X because 4 5 over 3 doesn't have a dimension, it's just a number. It's just a number. Therefore, volume dimension of this one should be equal to dimension of R to the power X. Now you can apply dimensions. dimension of volume. Dimension of volume is equal to the power 3. Dimension of radius means a length. Therefore, it is L to the power x. Now you can equate the powers of same base, powers of same base, powers of same base. Make a lian become the palm with semicolon. That means you are equating powers of the same base. So x is equal to. Then you can write the actual formula. So B is equal to 4 pi over 3 times R cubed. This is the actual formula. Okay, the second one. The potential energy E stored on an object is proportional to its mass, gravitational acceleration, and the height. Therefore, E, potential energy E, depends on it's okay with it. Take a minute. Okay. ඒක දුවගෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඉතින් අර නළුවත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒක මේ මොකක්ද මම මෙතන දන්නේ නැත්තේ ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නව නිසා. දැන් අපි ලියලා අපි හැම වෙලේම කියනවා. ඒ නිසා ඕලෙන් දාන නිසා මම ලියුවේ නැත්තේ. නමුත් ඒක දුවා කියලා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. ඒක වඩා හොඳයි. බලන්න. So E depends on mass, gravitational acceleration, and the height. So as the first step, I can write E directly proportional into the power x, E directly proportional G to the power y, and E directly proportional h to the power z as. So those are the assumed relationship. I assume E directly proportional into the power some power y to the power y, the G to the power y. Okay. Then I can combine these three relationships into one relationship, single relationship. Therefore, if E directly proportional separate into each variables, then I can combine this as a product. So E directly proportional m to the power x, G to the power y, h to the power z. Okay. Then now this is a relationship. Now I can convert this relationship into an equation to take. Therefore, E is equal to K into m to the power x, G to the power y, h to the power z. You have to mention the K is as the proportionality constant. Proportionality constant. Okay. It is given, it is as it is number 1, no? It is 1. Yeah. Proportionality constant is 1. It is given, therefore, then I can write the equation E is equal m to the power x, G to the power y, z to the power h. Now I can apply the dimensions. So if so, dimension of E should be equal to the dimension of m to the power x, dimension of G to the power y, dimension of h to the power z. This step is much important. Step. Dimension of E. What is the dimension of E? आगे क्या डिविजन ऑफ E
ML square T minus square.
minus M L square T minus 2 to T. Therefore, M is mass. Their mass is n to the power x. This is L T minus 2. L T minus 2 to the power y. S is L to the power z. L was. Okay. Now you can simplify this one online. Simplify calculus. Online simplify M L square T minus 2 here. There is no other m's. Therefore, m to the power x here. There are two L's. One is y and the second is z. Therefore, the total one is y plus z. L to the power y should be multiplied by L to the power z. 2 to the power 3 multiplied by 2 to the power 5 again. Altogether 2 to the power 8 to the power 8. Altogether 2 to the power 8. There are 3 2's, there are 5 2's. Altogether there are 8 2's. Therefore, if two same powers are multiplied, then the index will be added. Therefore, L to the power y plus L to the power z. Then t to the power minus 2y. Now you can equate most easiest one. Easiest one I can select n because when I equate the powers of n, it is very clear x is equal to 1. X is equal to 1. X is equal to 1. So if I equate m, x is equal to 1. Then the most easiest one is y. Y. So why not t? If I equate t, here the power is minus 2. Here the power is minus 2y. Minus 2y. Therefore, the answer is minus 2 to minus 2 will be cancelled out. Y is equal to 1. Y is equal to 1. Then, to find z, you can equate L. Equate the powers of L. Here L is 2. Here L is y plus z. Y plus z means y is 1. 1 plus z. That means z also equal to 1. Z also equal to 1. So I can write the equation. Therefore, E is equal M G H because all the powers, that means x, y, and z are equal to 1. Clear? Take another. Third one. Third one. The kinetic energy of an object depends on mass and velocity v. The proportional constant is what? The proportional constant is half. The third one. The kinetic energy E. Kinetic energy E depends on mass and velocity. And proportionally constant is given, it is half. As a first step, I can write E is directly proportional n to the power x. I don't know x. This is an assumption. Then I can assume E directly proportional to V to the power y. V to the power y. I don't know y. I have to find that. So E separately directly proportional to n to the power x and V to the power y. Then I can combine these two relationships and I can build a combined relationship. E is directly proportional n to the power x times V to the power y. V to the power y. Then this equation can be converted into an equation. This relationship can be converted into an equation. So E is equal E is equal K into n to the power x, V to the power y, V to the power y, V to the power y. K is a proportionality constant and that should be written earlier only. හරි නම් K දාලා ඊට පස්සේ මම ලියන්න පුළුවන් K කියන්නේ half කියලා කියනවා. So E is equal half n to the power x, V to the power y. V to the power y. Then I can dimensionally equate these two sides. Then dimension of E is equal to dimension of n to the power x, dimension of V to the power y. Dimension of V to the power y. Okay. Okay, you can write the dimension of half. There is a number, it can be mentioned. Okay. Again, dimension of energy. Dimension of energy is equal ml squared t minus 2 putih. Dimension of m is m to the power x. Dimension of v is velocity, that is equal lt minus 1. Lt minus 1. Lt minus 1 to the power 1.
Excuse me, sir. There would be ml square t minus 1.
Sorry?
There you put t minus 1 and this side t minus 2.
What was it? Can you repeat the question? You are saying this should be t minus 1.
Yes, I'm asking that minus 2, not t minus 2. So this side it comes like t minus 1, no?
There's t minus 2 because the gravitational acceleration. This is velocity.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Here gravitational acceleration. Here acceleration. Here this is a velocity. That's why this t minus 1. Right? So then m l squared t minus 2 m to the power x. This is a velocity. This is a velocity. That's why the dimension lt minus 1. L to the power y, t to the power minus y. T to the power minus y. Okay, then I can equate. The powers from same base. Initially, I can equate n. If I equate n, here the power is 1, here the power is x, therefore x is equal 1. Then what is the easiest one? L, no? So if I equate L, you can clearly see here 2, here y. here 2, here y. Therefore, y should be equal to 2. Therefore, y should be equal to. Now the problem is solved. Problem is solved. X is equal to 1, y is equal to. That means, therefore, the equation is half m to the power 1. M to the power 1 is m. V to the power 2. V to the power is v square. Half m square. தெரியும்? Okay, this is the last question. The potential energy stored in stretch energy compare the compressed spring, the stretch of compressed spring depends on the applied force F and elongation X. Proportional constant is half. In the current level, Okay, do you have any questions up to now? දැන් මම මේ හදපු questions තුනත් එක්ක මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? ටක් ගාලා කියන්න. Do you have any questions? Questions තියෙනවද ළමයි? මේ හදපු questions මේ problems තුන තේරුණාද? Okay. The last question. Last question. The potential energy stored in a stretch or compressed spring depends on potential energy depends on the applied force F and elongation length or compressed length X. The potential energy E depends on the applied force and the elongation length X. Therefore, E is a energy, F is a force, X is a length. This is an energy. This is a force. This is a length. Therefore, energy depends on these two factors. Then, as the first step, I can assume the relationship between these two. So I can assume E directly proportional F to the power X. And then next, after that, finally I can find X. Then I can assume E direct proportional X to the power Y. Now those two are separately directly proportional with E. Then I can combine these two proportionalities. So the next step is combine these two relationships. That means E directly proportional to the product of these two. That means F to the power X, X to the power Y. Now this is a relationship with A. The next step is converting this relationship into an equation. So if I convert this relationship into an equation, E is equal constant into x to the power. So K is a proportionality constant. K proportionality constant that is equal to half. That is equal to half. Therefore, now E is equal half into x to the power x, x to the power y. Okay, now this is the equation. This is the assumed equation. So after that, I can apply dimensional analysis. Therefore, this is an equation. Therefore, both dimension of both should be equal. So dimension of E should be equal to dimension of f to the power x, x to the power y. This is energy. Therefore, m L square T minus 2. This one is a force, therefore it will be minus 2. M L T minus 2 to the power x. This one is a length. Length means L to the power 1. L to the power 1. So I can simplify this one, okay? M L square T to the power minus 2 is equal m to the power x. There is no any other m's, therefore it is the simple format m to the power x. Then l to the power x, but there is another power l to the power y, therefore l, the total power is x plus y, x plus y. Then this one, t to the power minus 2x, t to the power minus 2x. Then I can equate today, I can equate to find x and y, x and y. So if I equate m, if I equate the powers of m, here 1, here x. Therefore, x is equal to 1. Then I can equate the powers of L. Then I can equate the powers of L. I don't want to equate the powers of T because powers of T gives again the x. Therefore, no need to compare that. No need to compare that. Then powers of L, powers of L. So if I compare powers of L, here L to the 2, that means powers of L, here 2, here x plus 2, therefore x plus y is equal to x plus y is equal to 2. X plus y equal to means you know x is 1, x is 1, therefore if I apply x is 1, y also equal to 1, therefore y also equal to 1, y also equal to 1, x also equal to 1. Now I can write the final equation, that means E is equal half into f to the power x, x is 1 to 10 now, f, y to the power y, y also equal to 1, that means the equation is half fx. හරිද? හරියෝ? ලියාගන්න ඕනේ කියනවා. හරිද පුතේ? වැඩේ. Shall I erase?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then write the next topic. ඊළඟ topic එක. Okay. Actually, it is very clear Pute, in this procedure, there were a lot of limitations. No? Because it is very clear, we cannot determine x and y if I don't know the value of k. If I don't know the value of k, I cannot do that. And the other thing is, if I don't know the dimension of each and every terms, I cannot do this. Therefore, dimensions of all the terms, all variables should be known. Or should be given. The other thing is the value of k, value or the dimension of k should be given. Otherwise, we cannot do this procedure. Tell me another limitation. It is very clear, Pute. It is very clear when equating the powers of 3, when equating the powers of same bases. Look at this. When equating the powers of same bases, there are only 3 variables to equate. One is the power of m, other one is the power of l, other one is the power of t. Other than these 3, there is no any base to equate powers. Because in dimensions there are only 3 physical quantities, m, l and t. Therefore, there are only 3 physical quantities in dimensions. Therefore, in any dimensional formula, there are only 3 words. What are those? M, L, T. Therefore, when you are equating powers, you have to you can equate only 3 times. That means you can find maximum up to 3 unknown variables, x, y, and z. You can find up to maximum up to 3 unknown variables. Other than that, you cannot find. Therefore, you can find 3 unknown variables, x, y, and z. Any word, x, y, and z. And that means you can combine. You can combine 3 physical quantities with another physical quantity. And you can combine maximum up to 3 physical quantities with another physical quantity. Other than that, you cannot increase the number of physical quantities affecting to that which physical quantity. Again, මෙයාට බලන්න පුතේ මෙයා වා කොච්චර දැඟලුවා වාට හොයන්න පුළුවන් variables 3ක් විතරයි x මෙතන මෙයාගේ මේ powers unknown powers 3ක් විතරයි හොයන්න පුළුවන් මොකද ඔයා දන්නේ පුතේ m l and t වල powers equate කරන්න විතරයි එතනින් එහාට මේකක් නැහැ කෝඩ් එකක් එච්චරයි එහෙනම් ඔයාට පුතේ අනිවාර්යෙන් combine කරන්න පුළුවන් maximum up to 3 physical quantities විතරයි. Therefore, the maximum number of the maximum number of physical quantities in an equation should be equal to either the maximum number of physical quantities in an equation will be equal to what's අපි build කරන equation එක අපි build කරන equation එක තියෙන්න පුළුවන් maximum number of physical quantities ගන්න කියලා. තේරෙනවද මම අහපු ප්‍රශ්නේ? කියලාද? අහන්නේ. Janet? Rasid? What are your answers? Sanigam? Three. Himanshu? දැන් මම ඕගොල්ලන්ට ගණන් කරන්න ගියා දෙන්න ඕන. හරි. අර ගල් කැට ටිකක් එකතු කරලා ගණන් කරන්න 1යි 2යි 3යි 4යි කියලා. ඇයි හත් දෙයියනේ මෙතන හොඳට පේනවා ෆිසිකල් ක්වොන්ටිටිස් කීයක් තියෙනවද? 1යි 2යි 3යි 4යි. කීයක් තියෙනවද? 4 physical quantities in there. ආද නේද? 4ක් තියෙනවා. හරිද? මෙයත් එක්ක කම්බයින් කරන්න පුළුවන් other physical quantities තියෙන 3යි maximum. ඒවා මෙයක් ඉන්නවා. අන්න ඒක හොඳට උඩ තියාගන්න. මූත් ඉන්නවා. ඔයාර දෙනවා words වල හරි මොනවද statements වල කරද්දී අනිවාර්යම ඕන හම්බුනේ. හරියට කියවන්න. හරියට කියවන්න. මොකක්ද word එකක් ආවොත් මොකක්ද word එකක් ආවොත් මේ මොකද්ද maximum other physical quantity කියන්නේ අරත් එක combine කරලා other physical quantities that is equal to 3. But if you ask a question something like the maximum number of physical quantities that can be in an equation, that should be equal to 4. Because in an equation there are two sides of it. One is RHS, other one is LHS and RHS. So LHS there is a physical quantity. RHS there are physical quantities. And then therefore the maximum number of physical quantities in an equation can be equal to 4. Can be equal to 4, but we can find up to 3 unknown powers. We can find maximum up to 3 unknown powers. අපිට unknown powers maximum හොයන්න පුළුවන් පුතේ 3. හරි. ඒක නිසා මෙයත් එක combine කරන්න පුළුවන් physical quantities maximum තියෙන 3. අපි combine කරලා පස්සේ equation එකක් හදනවනේ. equation එක ඇතුළේ මූ තියෙනවනේ. අන්න එතකොට equation එක ඇතුළේ physical quantities හතරක් තියෙනවා. හරිද? අපි ඒක තමයි දැනන්න පුළුවන් maximum limit. හරි. So those are some limitations to it. Okay. In my explanation, I have clearly mentioned the proportionality constant should be given. It should be given. And so, how to determine the proportionality constant? The proportionality constant determine. Can anyone tell me how to determine the proportionality constant? We have to do some experiment. Otherwise, we cannot determine proportionality constant. Okay. Suppose we have to prove the force is equal F into A. Then we should do some experiment. Then using the fact and figures, and observations, we can determine the proportionality constant. Therefore, proportionality constant cannot be determined the dimensional analysis, but it can be determined using the experimental analysis. Therefore, we have to use an experimental analysis to determine the proportionality constant. That is not in the syllabus. The syllabus again, I have in the class. Okay. Okay. Did you get my points? What are the limitations in this analysis? තේරුණාද මොනවද තියෙන limitations කියලා? පැහැදිලිද? පැහැදිලිද නැත්නම් ආයෙ explain කරන්න ඕනිද මොනවද limitations කියලා? Okay. හොඳයි. ඒක ලියාගමු. ඒක ලියාගමු. දැන් topic එක limitations of the above analysis. Limitations of the above analysis. Limitation of the above analysis. The first one. The value or the dimension, the value or the dimension of a proportionality constant, the value or the dimension of a proportionality constant cannot be determined using the dimensional analysis. Using the dimensional analysis. This is very important point. Very important point. Value එක determine කරන්නත් බෑ පුතේ, dimension එක determine කරන්න. මේක. ඒක අපිට දෙන්න ඕනේ. නැත්තම් මේක හදලා ඉවරයි. I will repeat it again. My answer repeat කරන්න. The dimension, the value or the dimension of a proportionality constant cannot be determined using the dimensional analysis. So within a bracket, try this one. This can be determined. This can be determined using an experimental method. Experimental method. Close the bracket. Was that? Right, so therefore, the value and the dimension, the value and the dimension the value and the dimension of the proportionality constant of the proportionality constant of the proportionality constant should be given එතන මම පුතේ අර ඩිමෙන්ෂන් එක කියලා දුන්නෙත් එහෙම සමහරවල් ඩිමෙන්ෂන් තියෙන ඒවාත් තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි මෙච්චර වෙලා ඉන්නේ වැලියු එකක් විතර නම්බර් එකක් විතර. If it is a number then there is no dimension and therefore no need to do dimension. If it is a number no need to do a no need to give a dimension because number doesn't have a dimension with it. So but in some cases the proportion constant can be another physical quantity. In such cases, that physical quantity has a dimension. As an example, you can actually you may remember this F equal kx equal kx equation. This one is spring constant. Spring constant. I think I have discussed this one, right? But we are clear. F equal kx. We have determined the dimension of spring constant, no? Spring constant. We have determined the dimension of spring constant previously. We have determined the dimension of spring constant. Actually, in this case, spring constant is the constant here, proportionality constant here. Spring constant is the proportionality constant here. Therefore, that proportionality constant also a physical quantity, not just a number. Okay. Therefore, the proportionality constant can be a number or can be a constant. That constant may be a physical quantity. The constant may be a physical quantity. Okay. Right. This is the second. Did you get my point? There are no people there. Correct, Katya?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. The second thing. Mana මේක කියන්නේ? The unit of the what is that proportionality constant, can it be determined or not? The unit of a physical proportionality constant k, the unit of k can be determined or not using a dimensional analysis. The unit. Unit එක determine කරන්න පුළුවන් the proportionality constant එකේ unit එක. Not in some case, all the cases it can be determined. it can be determined නේ අපිට මෙයාගේ value එක විතර දෙන්න ඕනේ unit එක මොකද්ද කියලා හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් right we know the if we know the dimension of other physical quantities then I can find the unit not only unit but also the dimension and but also dimension but for that we have to have the knowledge of dimension of other units other physical quantities right මේවා දැනන් ඉන්න ඕනේ මේවා දන්නවනම් මට මෙයාගේ unit එක ගන්න පුළුවන් හරි but value එක මට ගන්න බෑ value එක මට ගන්න බෑ හරි value එක ගන්න බෑ තව ගන්න බෑ මේක කියන්නේ මේක මොකද්ද මේ just a number එකක්ද එහෙම නැත්නම් වෙන මොකක් හරි physical quantity එකද කියන එක මට හොයන්න බෑ ඒක මට හොයන්නත් බෑ හරි මට හොයන්න පුළුවන් unit එක හොයන්න පුළුවන් මේක physical quantity එකක් කියලා දීලා තියෙනවා නම් මෙන්න මෙයාගේ dimension එක අනිත් ඒවා ඔක්කොම දන්නවා නම් dimension එක හොයන්න පුළුවන් හැබැයි ඒක මම දැනන් ඉන්න ඕනේ මොකක්ද xy මම දැනන් ඉන්න ඕනේ අර මොකද්ද powers ටික දන්නවා නම් dimension හොයන්න පුළුවන් හරි powers ටික දන්නවා නම් dimension එක හොයන්න පුළුවන් powers ටික දන්නේ නැත්නම් මම dimension හොයන්න බෑ හරි අපි dimension නෙවෙයි unknown physical quantities වල එහෙම හොයන්න පුළුවන් එහෙම නැතුව equation එකක් build කරන්න යනකොට මම dimensions පුතේ අනිවාර්යෙන් දෙන්න ඕන. හරි. dimensions අනිවාර්යෙන් දෙන්න ඕන. dimensions දෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ මම දන්නේ නැහැ පුතේ මේ physical quantity එකක්ද මේ වගේ physical quantity එකක්ද එහෙම නැත්නම් just a number එකක්ද කියලා මම දන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක මට දෙන්න ඕන. හරි. ඒකට මට unit එක determine කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක බොහොම ලේසි. unit එක determine කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. unit can be determined. Other thing is dimension can be determined if I know the values of those powers. If I know the values of powers, then I can determine the dimension. Okay. Write the second limitation, second limitation. When equating the powers of same bases we can do it maximum up to 3 times. We can do it maximum up to 3 times. Because there are only 3 bases. M, L, and T. Because there are only 3 bases N, L, and T. M, L, and T. Okay. බලන්න පුතේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ මෙතන bases තුනක් තියෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ that means we can equate 3 times. We can equate 3 times means we can build 3 simultaneous equations. So using 3 simultaneous equation, you can find only 3 variables, no? Only maximum up to 3 variables. And අපි 2 simultaneous equations වලදී අපිට maximum up to 2 variables හොයන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. three simultaneous equations only, maximum of three variables are one. Therefore, I can find on maximum of three variables. Okay. Write down. Therefore, we can determine maximum up to three unknown variables. We can determine maximum up to three unknown variables using this method. Therefore, we can combine maximum. So we can combine the maximum part. We can combine. Come on. We can combine. Come on. We can combine maximum three physical quantities. Maximum three physical quantities with another physical quantity. With another physical quantity. That means the equation can have the equation can have maximum four physical quantities. Maximum four physical quantities. Maximum four physical quantities. Can we get? Yeah. Try this one. Help. Okay. Now the last one. Last one වලත් තියෙනවා. හරි. මම theoretical part එක ඉවරයි දැන් මේ unitary dimensions වල theoretical part එක වෙලා මේ additional පොඩි informations මේ කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ඒක දැන් පොඩ්ඩක් බලමු. ඊළඟට අපිට තියෙන measuring instrument පටන් ගන්න. මොකක්ද ඊට කලින් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ unit එක හොඳට බලා ගන්න ඕනි. next week එකේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට අනිවාර්යෙන් මේකෙන් paper එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. හරි paper එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. ඒ paper එකට ඔයගොල්ලෝ මොන දෙන්න ඕනි? ඒ නිසා හැමෝම face කරන්න ඕනේ හැම ළමයාම. බරි වෙලා ඉන්න බැරි නම් වෙනම කියන්න. ඒ එන්න එදාලා මේ ආවේතේ දරුවන්ට වෙනම paper එකක් පිටකොට එවනවා. හරිද? ඒ නිසා හැමෝටම ඒක ලියන්න වෙනවා. මේ paper එක. එතකොට මේ paper එක හැමතැනම එනවා. හරි? හරිද? unitary dimensions වලින් unitary dimensions වලින් ඊළඟට measuring instrument ඒ පාඩම වුණාට පස්සේ මේ පාඩම වෙන තරගක් කරනවා. හරි? ඒ නිසා පාඩම් කරලා තියාගන්න. ටියුට් එක අපි කරනවා Tuesday ටියුට් එක කරන නිසා Tuesday අනිවාර්යෙන් හැමෝම එන්න. එතකොට අපි ඩිස්කස් කරන්න පුළුවන් questions කොහොමද හදන්නේ කියලා. හරිද? questions කොහොමද හදන්නේ කියලා ඩිස්කස් කරන්න පුළුවන් පුතේ. එතකොට ඕගොල්ලන්ට තේරෙනවා කොහොමද answers දෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා questions වල. හරි. එතකොට ඒක මාර විදිහට help වෙයි Sunday exam එකට. හරි. ඒ නිසා මේ Sunday කියන්නේ next Sunday අපිට පොඩ්ඩක් ටික වෙලාවක් යයි class එක. හරි. හරි. අපි එහෙනම් බලමු ඊළඟ topic එක කියන්නේ මේක පරණ topic එකක් නමුත් ආයෙසරයක් මම ඉස්සර ගත්තේ මේක දැන් අපි unitary dimensions කරපු නිසා select කරගන්න. Okay. Now yes. පුළුවන් කරන්න. Tuesday වලට කරන්න බෑ නම් මේ මාර්ට ඊළඟ free day එක තියෙන්නේ Thursday. හරි. Thursday ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පුළුවන් නම් මට Thursday 7:30 Thursday අපි sure නෑ. Thursday sure නෑ. morning times කොහොමද ඔයගොල්ලන්? මම දන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන් ඉස්කෝලේ වලින් සමහරවිට මේ කියන්න බෑ. morning time නැත්තම් morning time එක තියෙනවා Wednesday එක. ඉස්කෝලේ තියෙන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා කියලා වැඩි. ඉස්කෝලේ තියෙන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා පුළුවන් තරම් කම්ප්ලීට් කරන්න Tuesday වෙනකොට. කරන්න බැරි නෑ මෙතන මේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දැන් අද ටයිම් එකක් තියෙනවනේ. හරිද? මම අද ඉක්මන ක්ලාස් ඉවර කරනවා. දැන් පටන් ගන්න කරන්න. මොකද දැන් already questions 30ක් කරලා ඉවරයි. 30 questions ඉවරයිනේ. 30 questions ඉවරයි කියලා කියන්නේ තව questions මේ 80යි තියෙන්නේ. හරිද? තව questions 80යි කියලා කියන්නේ 2.5 hour. හරිද? ඒ නිසා අද ඉඳ ගන්න කරන්න. මොකද මේ කොහොමත් අපි අද දිගට ක්ලාස් එක කරලා 2.5 hour තව ගන්නවා. හරි. ඒ නිසා දැන් කරන්න පටන් ගන්න. හරි. ඒක අපතේ යන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා Tuesday එහෙම තියාගන්න. මේ වෙනවා. Tuesday ඉතින් අපිට ඩිස්කස් කරන්න පුළුවන් සීමාවක් තියෙනවා. මොකද questions පුතේ මේ 110 එකපාර ඩිස්කස් කරන්න බැරි වෙයි. මේ මම අත්‍යවශ්‍ය questions ටික මුලින්ම ඩිස්කස් කරනවා. හරි. Okay. අර නිකම්ම answers දෙන questions තියෙනවා. නිකම්ම answers දෙන questions ලොකුව ඩිස්කස් කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ටක් ගාලා answers දෙන්න පුළුවන්. අර ඩිස්කස් කරන්න ඕන questions ඒවා මුලින්ම ඩිස්කස් කරලා ඉවර කරනවා. Okay. Okay, the next topic is classification of physical quantities. classification of physical quantities according to their units and dimensions. According to their units and dimensions. According to their units and dimensions. Okay. Actually, this part cannot be done in the at the beginning, because at the beginning you don't know about the units and dimension, and that's why this part has to be done after completing the unit and dimension. Okay. Classification of physical quantities according to their units and dimension. Okay. Physical quantities actually can be divided or can be classified into three major categories. Into three major categories according to the process of unit and dimensions. Because today some physical quantities have dimension and both unit and dimension. Some physical quantities do not have unit and dimension. Like the relative density, then refractive index. So that kind of physical quantities do not have both dimension or unit. Some physical quantities have both unit and dimensions, such as velocities, displacement, mass. It has a dimension as well as a unit. Unit of mass is kilogram. Unit of dimension of mass is m. The density of the unit of density is kilogram per cubic meter. Then the dimension is ml minus 3. Therefore, those kind of physical quantities have both unit and dimension. Most of the physical quantities have both unit and dimensions. But some physical quantities, something like refractive index, relative density, then coefficient of friction, efficiency, those kind of physical quantities do not have any unit or dimension. And that's a special character. What is that? That is angle. That is angle. Angle does not have a dimension, but it has a unit. Therefore, there's another category. There's another category. That category, the physical quantity do not have a dimension, but they do have a unit. But the thing is, that characteristic is shown by angles only. And angle විතරයි එක පෙන්නන්නේ. මේක කවුරුත් පෙන්නන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා තමයි angle වලට එච්චර ස්පෙસિෆික් තියෙන්නේ පුතේ. Angle අනිත් හැම එකටම dimension එකක් නැත්තම් උඩ unit එකක් නැහැ පුතේ. Dimension එකක් නැත්තම් unit එකක් නැහැ අතන. හරි. හැබැයි angle වලට dimension එකක් නැත්නම් උනාට එකට තියෙන පුතේ unit එක. ඒක තමයි ඒකේ තියෙන specialty. හරි. Okay. Then we can classify physical quantities into three categories. First one is having both units and dimensions. Then where do not have both unit or unit and dimension. Do not have both unit and dimension. Then this man. Do do not have a dimension. Do not have a dimension, but have a unit. Do not have a dimension, but have a unit. So those are three categories of physical quantities according to presence of unit and dimension. Examples for this one, there are a lot of examples. Velocity, then mass, length, displacement. There are a lot of examples. So in this case, refractive index, then relative density, coefficient of friction, or test efficiency. Those are examples for that category. The last category, there's only two. There are only two physical quantities. What are those? Plane angle and solid angle. Plane angle and solid angle. Plane angle and solid angle. Okay. That is the categorization of physical quantities according to their unit and dimensions. Category. Okay. Also, complete tracing, please let me know. Okay. Okay. හරි. ඊළඟට අපි පොඩ්ඩක් සාකච්ඡා question type කරා. question මේක අර මේ theoretical part එකක් නේ මේක සාමාන්‍ය ඕලෙමක් වෙනවා අපි දන්නවා. මේක question type කරා. මේ question type එකක් මේ සමහරලාට ඉන්නේ දිනවා. ඒක තමයි unit conversion. Unit conversion. So right at complete, this is not a theoretical part, but it is a question type. Unit conversion. Unit conversion. Unit conversion. Unit conversion. Right. As this is a question type, no need to write any theoretical note, but I will explain how to convert a unit, into another unit. Okay? Because that kind of questions in the tube. Okay, there may be some hard questions regarding this unit conversion. Okay, look at this one. Suppose the first one 36 km h minus 1. That means 36 kilometer per hour had to be converted into m s minus 1. To m s minus 1. Okay, how to do this? Look at this. 36 km h minus 1 can be written. Actually, if there's a negative power, please write them in a new denominator. In the denominator, I think it is much easy. It is much easy. How? Again, with the minus power, they are done denominator. Take a list. 36 kilometer over 1 hour. Now you can convert each of units into a required unit. Okay. Then kilometer meter can pull. Then I was second can pull. And the minus of the other to one kind of come out. It's a handle minus a handle the denominator. Take a list. So 36 kilometer means now if I convert it into meter, you can remove this kilo mark. Kilo means 10 to the power 3, 10 to the power 3. Therefore, 36 into 10 to the power 3 meter over hour into second. Hour into second means that is 306. 3600 second. මේ විදිහට දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ විදිහට දාපුවම අපිට එනවා 10 ms minus 1. හරි. මේක ඕගොල්ලන්ට ගණන් කරන්න පුළුවන් මම මේක එක්සැම්පල් එකක් කිව්වේ. ආයෙත් ගන්න. kg m minus 3 has to be converted into gram per centimeter square. This is very good. As in the previous, kilogram minus 3. මේක මෙන්න මේ විදිහට ලියාගන්න. Kilogram under that 1 cubic meter. Under that 1 meter cube. 1 meter cube. Right? 1 meter cube, that is equal to meter cube. 1 meter cube. මම මේ meter cube වලට මම 1 meter කියලා දාලා එයාගේ cube එක ගත්තා. දෙකම එකයි. දෙකම එකයි. මේක නිකම්ම මේ meter cube කියලා ඉවත් එකයි මොකේ නිකම්ම 1 එක දාලා 1 meter කියලා දාලා cube කරනවා දෙක දෙකම එකයි. මම මේක කරේ lazy. මේක කරේ lazy. Because now I can convert meter into centimeter, kilogram into gram. That is very easy. Meter into centimeter and kilogram into gram. So if you convert kilogram into gram, you have to remove kilo. To remove kilo, you have to multiply it by 3. Therefore, 1000 multiplied by 10 to the power 3. Yeah. Over. Then meter into centimeter. Meter into centimeter means you have to multiply it by meter. 1 meter is equal 10 to the power 2. That's 100 centimeter. 1 meter is equal how much centimeter? 100 centimeter. This is equal 100 centimeter. 100 centimeter. Into 3. දැන් මෙහෙම ගත්තාම මාර ලේසි. ඒක. මෙහෙම තියාගත්තාම මාර ලේසි. නැත්නම් ඔක පටලවා ගන්නවා. දැන් මේක තියාගත්තාම මේක ගන්න. මෙතන එනවා 10 to the power 2. 10 to the power 2. 10 to the power 2 into 3. 10 to the power 2 into 3 means 10 to the power 6 cm. 10 to the power 6 cm. මෙතන කීයද එන්නේ? 10 to 1 to 5. 12 into 10 to the power 5 gram over meter dekai 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 2 into 3 means 10 to the power 6. CO2 10 to the power 6 centimeter cube. That means so that is 1.2 gram per centimeter. මේ මෙච්චර ලියන්න ඕන ටක් ගාලා හදන්න පුළුවන්. මම එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරේ බැරි වෙලා හරි හිර වුණොත් හදාගන්න විදිහ. හරිද? මෙච්චර ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මම මේ එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්නේ මෙච්චර ලියයි. හරිද? චලියන්නේ. මේක මෙතනින් ටක් ගාලා වංශ මෙතනට වෙන්නේ. Okay. Write this one. හරි. පුතේ මේ යුනිට් කන්වර්ෂන් එකේ සාමාන්‍ය ඔය අවිලා තියෙන ටික අමාරු ගණන් ටිකක් Okay. Marlon, make a 21st question, 21. Question number 21. MCQ. MCQ question number 21. Takti balaga. MCQ question number 21. MCQ question number 21. Make a clear. Have you done? Shall I erase? You see no?
Okay, done, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Blake. Okay. Please go to the question number 21 in MCQ questions. MCQ. Okay, in that question, it is asked the value of certain quantity can be written as x kilogram, x kilogram m minus 2 s minus 2. If this value is given as y, gram centimeter minus 2 s minus 2. So what is the relationship between x and y? What is the relationship between x and y? What is the relationship between x and y? One. So this is initially it is given by x kilogram m square s minus 2. Finally, it is given by y gram centimeter square s minus 2. ඒ මොකද මේ අහලා තියෙන්නේ අතරම මේ අහලා නැහැ කියලා ගන්න උත් අහලා තියෙන්නේ මේක කන්වර්ට් කරපුවා කියලා. So actually I have to convert this one value into this value into this unit. That means you have to convert kilogram into gram, meter into centimeter, s into s. Okay. Then you can determine the value. So x can be written as x kilogram. Under that, I can write 1 meter square. Then second, it is not very important. Make it important, right? Now I can convert kilogram into gram. Kilogram into gram. If I convert kilogram into gram, what should I do?
10 to the power 3 gram. 1000 gram.
Yeah, I should multiply it by gram. 1000. X into 10 to the power 3 gram over meter should be converted into centimeter. Meter centimeter means 10 to the power 2, right? 100 10 to the power 2. Therefore 10 to the power 2 centimeter here square s square. Now you can simplify. If you simplify 10 to the power 3x gram over 10 to the power 4. 10 to the power 4 centimeter square s minus s2. So make a couple of divided. And I'm going to 0.1x gram centimeter minus 2 s minus 2. And may gram value if I write this one, may write this value in gram centimeter minus 2 s minus 2. The value is equal 0.1x 0.1x 0.1x. That means y should be equal 0.1x. That means y should be equal to 0.1x means 10 to the power minus 1x. 10 to the power minus 1x. 10 to the power minus 1x. ඔක අනිත් පැත්තට දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔක අනිත් පැත්තට දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ 0.1x means 1 over 10. 0.1 means 1 over 10. 1 over 10. 0.1 means 1 over 10. 1 over 10. That means x is equal 10y. X is equal 10y. That means x is equal 10 times 1. Did you get my point? Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
So this is the way of converting unit into another unit system. So unit conversion එක පටලවා ගන්න එපා. Unit conversion එක පටලවා ගන්න එපා. ඔයාලා මේක ගුරු වුණාට පස්සේ unit conversion ගුරු වුණාට පස්සේ මෙච්චර steps ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ටක් ගාලා ලියන්න පුළුවන්. මම මේ ලිව්වේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට පුදු වෙන්න නැත්තම් ගෙලින්ම ඔයාලට මෙතනටම යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක මෙතනටම යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ step එකේ ගියාට පස්සේ ආයෙත් මේකට යන්නේ. step දෙකෙන් හදන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. There should be a correction in 105th question today. I will inform that one, okay? I will give the correction. It has to be corrected. It has to be corrected. 105th question. Kasipa. 105th question. It should be corrected. I will mention what is the correction. Okay. Now we have completed the first session. First session means first section of the first unit, unit animation. Unit animation consists of two sections. First one is unit animation. The second part is measuring instrument. Measuring instrument. So now we have completed the first section, unit animations today. So we have to do another section. හොඳයි පුතේ. එතකොට මතක තියාගන්න එතකොට අපේ ක්ලාස් එක ඊළඟ ක්ලාස් එක වුණත් නෑ. ඊට පස්සේන ක්ලාස් එක අපේ මේ sections දෙකකට මම පොඩ්ඩක් කරනවා. එකක් measuring instrument එක අපි කොහොමද යනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි mechanics පටන් ගන්නවා. mechanics පටන් ගන්න කලින් mechanics වලට අදාළ maths part එක basic maths part එක මම අවශ්‍යයි ඒගොල්ලන්ට පොඩ්ඩක් කියා දීලා mechanics පටන් ගන්නෙ. ඒ නිසා මෙතනින් පස්සේ ක්ලාස් එකේ sessions දෙකක් කියන්නේ mechanics part එක සහ unit animations part එක. mechanics part එකට පටන් ගන්න කලින් මම trigonometry කරනවා. හරි trigonometry වල පුතේ මගේ අර පරණ recordings ඕන්න මම ඒවල තියන්නම් පොඩ්ඩක් මුලින් බලලා තියාගන්න. එතකොට list හරි. හරි බලලා තියාගන්න recordings ටික මම ඒවල තියන්නම් පරණ recordings ටික පොඩ්ඩක් බලලා තියාගන්න. එතකොට මට explanation එක ඕනද දෙන්න. හරි. හරි. Okay. Now you can do all the questions in this tube. මේ tube එක ඕගොල්ලන් complete කරන්න පුළුවන් දැන්. එතකොට මේ tube එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම complete කරන්න ඕනේ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ කියලා තියෙනවා කොහොමද MCQ කරන්න කියලා. දැන් MCQ first 30 MCQ මේ මම හිතලා කරලා දෙනවා කියලා. Now there are only 80 MCQs now. 80 MCQs now. හරිද කොහොමද කරන්නේ? අනිවාර්යෙන් clock එක තියාගන්න ඕනේ. clock එක තියාගෙන අනිවාර්යෙන් බලන්න ඕන ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ time එක. හරිද? time එක බලලා වෙලාව අරගෙන ඒ කියන්නේ හදිසිය කරන්න එපා. හදිසිය කරන්න එපා. හරියට පැය දෙකක් දෙකමාරක් දාන්න පුළුවන් time එකක් අරගෙන time slot එකක් අරගෙන කරන්න. දැන් අද හවස පුළුවන් නම් හවස කළා දාන්න. දැන් හරිද? මොකද කොහොමද අපිත් මේ කරන්න පුළුවන් එකනේ. ඒ නිසා අද හවස කළා දාන්න. මේ ගැම්මට. හරිද? මේ එතකොට අන්තිම questions 80 තියෙන්නේ. මතක තියාගන්න එක question එක 2 minutes විතරයි දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ 160 minutes 160 minutes මේ allocate වෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ 2.5 hour වගේ යන්න පුතේ. 2.5 hour වගේ ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඕක ඉවර කරලා දාන්න අනිවාර්යෙන්. පුළුවන් තරම් වේගෙන් ගන්න. මොකද සමහර questions තියෙනවා දැකගෙන උත්තර ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැකගෙන උත්තර ගන්න පුළුවන් questions තියෙනවා. හරිද? මම මේ question එක කිව්වේ මේ question එක පොඩ්ඩක් මේ මම ආශ්‍රයකට බලන්න ඕනේ. printing mistake එකක් තියෙනවා වගේ දැක්කම අන්න පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක බලන්න කියනවා. හරිද? ඒ අරුණාම ඉතුරු questions ටික අහුවන්නේ. හරිද? Okay. එහෙනම් we can complete today's class today. I have complete today's class because අර research class තියෙන නිසා පොඩ්ඩක් දැන් මේ research class එක දැන් මේ ඊ සතියක කරන්න බැරිච class එක ආසරයක් 24 කට්ටිය දාගත්තා. හවස ඒක නිසා ඔයගොල්ලන් ක්ලාස් එකට මම අද මේ මොනවාද පේපර් එකක් දෙන්න නැතුව ඉන්ටර්වල් එකක් දෙන්න නැතුව කරේ ඒකයි. මෙතනින් පස්සේ මම 5:30 5:50 5:30 ඊළඟ ක්ලාස් එකට තියෙනවා. හරි. So we can complete today's class today. Do you have any questions? Do you have any question? Do you have any questions regarding this? Okay. Then please start to do the MCQ questions and rest of the essay questions. They'll send that to me. Please do it as quick as possible because Tuesday we will start the discussion of dispute. Then Sunday you will have exam. You will have exam. After the exam we will start measuring instrument. Okay. So then we can complete today's class today. Okay. Then good night. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Have a good day. Rahat